Greetings, everyone. Dr. Jack Wolfson, welcome. Jump into the chat box. Come on in, say hello. Today's topic is all about alcohol and your heart. I am broadcasting live from Costa Rica. I am in the Costa Rican jungle, and I would certainly implore you and invite you to come down to Costa Rica. A lot of people are going to be listening from my hometown of Chicago and New York, and from Buffalo and Milwaukee and Seattle and Portland. You are not in the optimal place for health, wellness, and longevity. I apologize in advance for the noise in the background, such as life, as they say in Costa Rica, pura vida. Jump into the chat box, say hello, where you're from, who you are, maybe some conditions you have, and then we'll get on with our main topic, which is all about alcohol and your heart. Again, if you don't know me, which you probably do, I'm cardiologist Dr. Jack Wolfson, founder of Natural Heart Doctor. I will be back in the States as of next week. We broadcast live every Wednesday at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific, and we'll come back with another really good episode to you all. So Douglas Andrews in the house, hello to you. And you can see a little bit of the jungle background behind me. Katrine is in Mexico. Very good. The lower you are latitude-wise, the closer you are to the equator, the longer you live. People, all the blue zones are somewhat equatorial. The only exception is Iceland. Iceland has two things. Number one, a tremendous amount of seafood eaters with very clean, pure water. And then number two, it's a volcano, which is very high in sulfur from the earth. And sulfur is tremendous for our bodies for detoxification, helps to build glutathione for detoxification, anti-inflammation, oxidative stress. And also sulfur makes blood vessels very slick, very slick. JP7 on Earth is in town. JP, you're in Portugal. Again, great seafood, great lifestyle there. So again, I'm cardiologist Dr. Jack Wolfson. Share this information. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you're not doing so already. And we're going to get into the topic at hand, which is alcohol and your heart. So maybe if you want, you can go into the chat box too and comment, are you a drinker maybe? And if so, how often? And what is your favorite beverage? And maybe we can kind of work through some of these things as well, because I understand alcohol very well. I grew up in a house where alcohol was commonplace, not so much from my mother, but my father. And my father used to go to happy hour after work, and he was a weekend drinker. From the moment the weekend started, he would have a beer in his hand, and that would often progress throughout the day. And there's no sob story to my father's alcohol use. He was certainly not abusive, and all of the everything was that he became even funnier and even livelier, and the joke teller, the storyteller. And so I have no sob stories of that, only wonderful memories of my father's drinking, different restaurants we would go to, different trips we would take. And the only sob story to my father's alcohol use is that he's dead. He died at the age of 63. And as I went exactly following in his footsteps of not only becoming a cardiologist, but also eating the same food, drinking the same drink, and living the same lifestyle, well, that's what I would do the same as well. And what I now understand ultimately is alcohol is not necessary. Alcohol is not part of a healthy lifestyle. And alcohol should ultimately be limited or qualified use, or, used judiciously. And that is what I'm going to try and impart on you today, and really talk about some of the data that we can really look at as it relates to alcohol use. Because as you know, you can find any study to back up anything. You can also say that alcohol, it goes back thousands and thousands of years into biblical days and before, where people were drinking. But I want to give a little bit more context for the majority of people, and then you can see if it kind of matches up with you. But again, we've been told by various cardiologists, hey, drinking, red wine 1 to 2 drinks of red wine daily is good. It's protective. It prevents heart attacks. It prevents strokes. It prevents cancer. It increases longevity. So, again, I want to shed some information on what I feel is the best approach for you. And I do, again, want to apologize for the background noise. I'm on an active construction site. And as I said earlier, what we say in Costa Rica is pura vida. You go with the flow. Life happens. It's not always perfect. The cardiologist you're speaking to is wearing a sweaty pharma-free t-shirt. The old cardiologist of what I was wearing a shirt and tie and a beautiful background. I do always try and give you the best experience. And again, I apologize for background noise. All right. So the immediate effects of alcohol use are as follows. When you drink your first drink, your heart starts to race. Your blood pressure goes up. This is all sympathetic driven. And the acute effects of that can lead to palpitations, can lead to anxiety feelings. Alcohol is known to increase ectopic beats, premature atrial contractions. The night of the consumption of alcohol, this is where I think the main danger happens. If you consume alcohol, you don't sleep well that night. You have a higher risk of snoring, a higher risk of sleep apnea, a higher risk of poor quality sleep. This is measurable not only on indices of sleep apnea, but also on heart rate variability studies. So we have exact metrics of what's happening. And then now, once you disrupt one night of sleep, well, that plays into high sympathetic tone the next day, higher heart rate, higher blood pressure, higher cortisol, higher epinephrine, norepinephrine, and now we have this cascade of events that happens. This is why it's very well known of things like holiday heart syndrome, where after a holiday, people suffer cardiac events, myocardial infarction, heart rhythm disorders, atrial fibrillation, various symptomatologies after this holiday heart. And this can happen in otherwise people who would say they're healthy. So one example was a patient of mine, and this is kind of an extreme. He's in his late 50s. He travels a 3-hour time change. He goes from Arizona to New York in that time of year when it is a 3-hour time change, which is the summer. And he goes to New York and he has a lot of drink and he stays up late and he wakes up the next morning after a very short disrupted night of sleep and his heart is racing. He doesn't feel well and he wants to know why. And I said, obviously, if you have things like loss of sleep from time changing from alcohol, you're going to run into problems. All right. So even like one night causes meaningful changes. And if you're used to it, if you drink every day, you may not have those fluctuations. But I assure you it is still affecting you in a negative way. And ultimately, what we'll get at here is how to reduce and even eliminate your consumption in the healthiest way. Now, the next thing I would talk about is that alcohol drinkers tend to have higher blood pressure. And what you have is that alcohol consumption interferes with the way nitric oxide signals blood vessels to relax. We sell a lot of products on our website that are predicated on dilating blood vessels through nitric oxide production and release and utilization, and alcohol can interfere with that. Alcohol is known to increase oxidative stress, which of course leads to many different health-related problems, including heart rhythm and blood pressure and coronary artery disease. Raises cortisol, leading to the same problems, and promotes this vascular stiffness as well. So we also want to be in consideration of that. And I think also that as we get to the next thing is that alcohol and cholesterol, if we think about alcohol as something that does have to be processed in the processing center, which is called the liver. And if the liver is very busy processing one thing, well, then it can't process another. It's kind of like if you were to take your car to the repair shop. And if the repair shop has a lot of cars to repair, your car may not get top priority. If your car is the only one there and they've got the team to repair it, well, then it'll happen very quickly. So if your liver is already encumbered by things of which you have no choice over, your air pollution that you're breathing, environmental toxins in your home, and yes, there is some choice because I live in Costa Rica where you can see airflow coming throughout this structure. But if at this particular time, what are the things you can control right now? The toxins coming in. Well, one of those toxins you can make a decision over immediately is whether or not you consume alcohol, because the alcohol has to be broken down in the liver to acetaldehyde and other breakdown products, so it's excreted from the body without remaining as alcohol. Otherwise, you would be perpetually drunk, for example, perpetually have these cognitive issues. So how does your body recover from that? Again, it's got to process the alcohol. And when your body has pharmaceuticals, mold mycotoxins, plastics, phthalates, pesticides, when your liver is very busy with those, then it can't deal with the alcohol. So alcohol, if we eliminate it or reduce it and restrict it, it's one less thing that we have to move forward with. Which takes me back to my point of that if we have elevated cholesterol is not because your body wants to cause you harm, and there's no genetic defect that causes an overabundance or production of cholesterol. There are genetic SNPs that lead to a problem eliminating LDL particles, and it requires a healthy liver to eliminate LDL particles. And the liver cannot be healthy when you consume alcohol. So if you get rid of the alcohol, it allows your body to deal with the process of many things, including the elimination of LDL particles once they are small and damaged. So what I'm saying is that what you perceive as a cholesterol problem, what your doctor perceives as a cholesterol problem with a statin solution, I would describe as a liver problem that you need to fix the root cause of. And oh, by the way, statins are well known to cause hepatic or liver inflammation. You see the problem? You see the problem? I hope so. Now, again, alcohol, especially, of course, in heavy users have a higher risk of heart rhythm problems. Heavy users have a higher risk of what's called alcoholic cardiomyopathy because alcohol is directly toxic to the heart. Alcohol users tend to not eat as well. Therefore, they have decreased minerals and vitamins through their food. They also have a lot more of the liver being busy trying to process, and therefore the liver is utilizing a lot of the vitamins and minerals, proteins, and fats in alcohol elimination, so you can see where all this goes. Now, alcohol can also be tied to gut inflammation and to an unhealthy microbiome. So we can also see how alcohol consumption creates the milieu in the gastrointestinal tract where we don't have good bugs, don't have good bacteria. That leads to leaky gut, leaky liver, leaky heart disease, brain disease, so on and so forth. Now, what we hear often is about the benefits of alcohol. We hear often about what's called the French paradox, how the French eat a lot of fat, have less heart disease. They drink a lot of wine, they have less heart disease. And that's what they call the French paradox. And I think it's not a paradox at all. It just tells us that high fat, quality high fat consumption is not the problem. But ultimately, I think in general that alcohol, although there may be some data that supports it on a population basis, I think that it ultimately does lead to more problems, and there are other things that could lead to health. Alcohol is not one of them. Now, one other facet too is that what I have found is that my brain is quickly impaired from alcohol. And I want to make sure I'm always on my A game. I want to make sure I'm always on my A game, partly because I want to be able to express the message of health and wellness. And if I'm not fully present, if my mind is changed from alcohol acutely, I'm not able to teach. I'm not able to express myself. I'm not able to give my full expressive nature as well as I should. I'm also not going to be there as well as I should in the moment for my children, for my wife, for my friends, and as I stated already, to my community like all of you. And when you consume alcohol, it does lead to short-term memory loss. So you don't remember the experiences that you had. So those are one of the main reasons why I choose not to ingest alcohol, except for maybe on spontaneous occasions. So maybe if you say, if we can cut back from daily use to, let's say, once or twice a week. If alcohol is there to help you unwind at the end of the day, you need to figure out why you have the need to unwind. What is it in your life? What is it with your social life, your work life? Why do you feel the need to have that evening beverage, and fix that, as opposed to trying to band-aid it with alcohol, or in some cases people band-aid it with heavy food consumption, or in some cases people band-aid it with narcotics or illicit drugs. So why are you doing that, and can we fix the root cause? Why do you feel the need to unwind at the end of the week? Think about that as well. But I like to say that instead of drinking daily, we say drink weekly. Whatever amount you're currently consuming, make it less. I hope that makes sense for everyone. So me personally, Dr. Jack Wolfson, I would probably say that I have 1 to 2 alcoholic beverages per month. The next caveat would be is that everything I drink is going to be high quality. It's going to be organic. It's going to be a beverage that doesn't have the chemicals, the toxins, and the poisons of the old me, which would feel very well at home drinking some cheap beer out of a can. So we want to drink quality. We want to drink from glass. We don't want to drink from cans. Obviously from plastic, we don't want to drink from, but cans are lined with plastic, so we don't want to drink out of cans, even if they're labeled as BPA free. So again, organic tequila, organic vodka, organic beer, organic wine, know the source. I've been in California before. I've taken vineyard tours. I've drank bottles of wine from vineyards that are $500 bottles that are not organic. So that's where you really need to know where your food comes from, where your beverages come from. Okay. So, ultimately, I think if you're going to drink, you're going to drink limited amounts. You're going to drink high quality. And ultimately understanding that you do not have to drink to be healthy. If you understand that there are antioxidants and polyphenols in the red wine, well, you would obviously also get that from the grape. You could get the antioxidants and the polyphenols from olive oil. And maybe our team could link in there our favorite olive oil company, naturalheartdoctor.com/olive. You can get it from raw cacao. And here I'm in Costa Rica. And let me actually show you all something. Watch this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a cacao pod. I just did a video on this, but I'm going to show you the pod. I'm going to break the pod. I'm going to show you the raw cacao. And if you can't get this, then you're going to naturalheartdoctor.com/chocolate. But give me a second to do this for you all. This is the raw cacao. And I'm telling you, this is really something that is spectacular inside of here. So this is the fruit of the cacao. So chocolate can be said it's this is what this company, so this eventually makes chocolates, but this is the fruit, and then inside of here are the cacao seeds. So when you eat raw cacao, you're actually eating the seeds, and in this form, they are very sweet on the somewhat sweet on the outside. This whitish layer here and then you just eat them straight away. And I'm telling you, you can probably find this at places in the United States, at certain ethnic stores where they get this. I don't know if it'll be organic. I would like to assume that it is, but these are questions that you could ask. What I'm trying to get at, though, is that there are other sources of antioxidants and polyphenols besides alcohol. And let me say here that I've had a lot of former cardiology colleagues that were huge proponents of red wine. And they had multi-$100,000 wine storage units and refrigerators in their own home. And they would like to be able to tell everybody about the benefits, but I think a lot of times it's a cognitive dissonance as well. Marianne, that's good news that your husband has cut back. And that's all we could ask of people. And really, just like I'm doing to you right now, I'm trying to teach, I'm trying to educate on what I feel based on the medical literature and my experience for over 20 years is what is the best thing for your health. As you share this with other people, you're sharing this knowledge. Now, what they do with that is entirely up to them. But I feel that we should at least have this discussion. And again, as they say, you can lead the horse to water. You can't make him drink. This is absolutely delicious. That was Dr. Heather in the background there, guys. All right. So again, there are other sources of this high quality antioxidant polyphenol. And again, you do not need the alcohol to get that. And if you want to come down to Costa Rica and to Central America to enjoy this, and we're going to be planting a lot of these on our property. All right. So if your body is already damaged from alcohol consumption, or if you do live with someone who's going to continue to consume, then you really have to make sure you're doing everything else appropriately. You really have to make sure that you're doing the foundational tenets of what we teach at Natural Heart Doctor, our Natural Heart Doctor method of eat well, live well, think well. So breaks in the armor there, that if we do everything else, then we're giving. If your husband or wife or friend or child continues to drink, well, then maybe we can come at them from different angles that would be very healthy and healing to the liver. So if we're eating high quality foods like seafood, if we are eating free-range grass-fed meats, including the organs like the liver, that helps to repair your damaged liver, then you can do that as well. And when you give your body the nutrients from a healthy animal liver, like the Kickstart My Heart elk product that we sell, and I'll have my team put it up there, naturalheartdoctor.com/kickstart. Then, again, you're like, hey, honey, I know you're drinking still, and I would like for you to continue to cut back, but I would also like for you to take this supplement. I would like for you to eat these particular foods. I would like for you to eat cacao and coconut and olives and avocados in order for your body to repair, what it needs to get the job done and to stay healthy. Now, that's from a food standpoint. Now we can talk about quality sleep, and we can talk about being outside like I am right now, outside in the sunshine, and we can talk about other factors of, trying to eliminate other toxins. If we can't eliminate alcohol as a toxin, let's eliminate other toxins. And can we get a good mindset? Can we find a happy place? This eat well, live well, think well mantra. And the more of all of those that we do, the better our health is going to be. And then, of course, alcohol elimination can be considered to be icing on the cake. One thing we forgot to mention is movement. So if the person is moving, if they're exercising, if they're building muscle, if they're physically active, again, that's going to be a great strategy to their health and wellness. And ultimately, what we want regarding thinking well, and when we think well, we are in a good mindset that allows our body to be in parasympathetic tone. We are rest, digest, procreate, relax, and we heal. And we do that when we find our happy. And when you come to visit us down here on our finca in Costa Rica, you will see a place that will be a perfect example for you of finding your happy. So, again, I hope that all this information was very valuable to you. And in summary, alcohol is not your friend. Alcohol is toxic to every person in one way, shape, or form with every drink. You don't have to totally eliminate, but you definitely want to cut back. The best scenario would be to eliminate, as we talked about, maybe 1 to 2 drinks per week or 1 to 2 drinks per month. It has to be organic. It has to be in glass. And it has to be part of a very healthy overall lifestyle that embodies the eat well, the live well, the think well. Okay. So Patty's saying, I know someone who's 69, been drinking. So again, everybody appears healthy until the day that they're not. And I've been very upfront saying this, that the person who gets cancer was not healthy. The person who has a heart attack was not previously healthy. You have to be unhealthy, and then you have the symptom and or sign of disease. A healthy person doesn't get cancer. A healthy person doesn't get dementia. A healthy person doesn't have cancer. By definition, you have to be unhealthy first, and then you get cancer, and then you get brain disease, and then you get heart disease. So, as Patty's saying, his brain is getting bad, and you say nothing is wrong with his organs. I guarantee you, if we look, we will find problems with his organs. Okay. Dr. Dennis, very good point about Fibonacci numbers in nature. Marianne says, my husband won't cut back, but it seems that whiskey affects him more than vodka. You know, it's interesting because whiskey is wheat-based. Vodka, sometimes maybe the vodka he's consuming is a little bit cleaner, and it's not, containing gluten, although alcohol really does not, gluten is typically distilled out. So who knows what, maybe he may be more sensitive to those. I think that organic tequila is probably the best of the bunch, but again, that's also just a personal taste preference. Yeah, Catherine, the liver can repair itself. Now, there is certainly a point where things get damaged beyond return, but the body is meant to heal. If I cut myself shaving, the body heals. I cut my skin, it heals. I break a leg, it can heal. So, yeah, we are built to heal, and the liver can heal as well, as long as it's not past the point of no return. After alcohol, and Melissa's commenting about the best way to lower high LDL particles. It's really just about healing the liver, and Optilipid is not meant to compete with statin drugs as far as particle number reduction. It's not. Optilipid is meant to clear LDL particles. Statin drugs are meant to stop the production of LDL. It's different. It's different. JP stopped alcohol 28 years ago, and I assume, JP, you've never looked back, and you're traveling around the world, living a great life. Josephine Quintana, thank you for all the info. I'm currently cutting back on alcohol, but now I want to quit completely. And there are some people who can help with this. This is not where you need to go to AA. This is also a matter of, maybe you want to join my friend Onoa Biela, the alcohol freedom method and stuff like that, where she teaches people how to have a healthy relationship, with alcohol, and actually really starts to break down why people consume. So again, I'm at the 30-minute mark on this YouTube live. I hope you enjoyed all this information. And again, we'll be back broadcasting every week at noon Eastern on Wednesdays, YouTube Live, Natural Heart Doctor. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. Please share this information. Sharing is caring, as we teach our children. Share this information with someone who you love. You just may save their life. And we will see you with more information. Happy Heart Month to all of you. The best in heart health and wellness and longevity. I'm going to log off and enjoy the rest of this raw cacao. Have a great day, y'all.